Disclaimer. The views and opinions expressed on the Powerhouse radio station are those of the host, guests, and callers, are not necessarily those of this station, its management, or other hosts or advertisers. The show, found on the Powerhouse radio station, can promote any lifestyle, belief, religion, political affiliation, or other personal practice. These shows are for entertainment purposes only and are not intended to treat, diagnose, and or claim any cure of disease or conditions. Opinions stated by various contributors to the Powerhouse Radio and its programming are not to be considered as endorsed by the Powerhouse Radio station. Visitors are urged to use their own discernment to draw their own conclusion. We emphasize the importance of keeping an open mind.
Victorious 89.1 WAKP.
Your unity in the community station.
Yeah. You listen to the sounds of DJ Fourth Quarter in your ear right now. If you're in your car, if you're at home, if you're on your phone, let's gripe, baby.
Driving home and you're feeling kinda tired. Hey, radio play the same thing every day. So you need a little switch in your life. Traffic got you jammed up every night. Tune in to Powerhouse. Wednesday 7 to 9, you need to check them out. I promise I ain't trying to hype, but one good listen tonight, it might change your life. So what's the name of the show? You need something to just ride to on the go. Or you might be home, so log on. You can even dial in on your phone. I promise that you're gonna love it. Just try it one time, it'll blow your mind. Now I'ma say it just one more time. Every Wednesday from 7 to 9.
Let's gripe. Let's gripe. Let's gripe. Let's gripe.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you for joining us at the powerhouseradio.com and 89.1 FM, Victorious Radio. Good evening. Came in a little late this evening because, man, we got a lot to talk about tonight. How you doing, MG and McKenna? How are we going to start this show off tonight on this Wednesday, March 30th? One more day, and the month is over.
Yes, well, good evening, everybody, and happy Wednesday, happy hump day. And yes, today, March 30th. So I'll start real quick with, if you remember 5 years ago today, if you lived in the metro Atlanta area and you were anywhere near 285, that whole little section collapsed and it went up in smoke. And that today is the 5th year anniversary of that event. So that's my gripe today, that 5 years later, they announced it on the radio, and we remember there was a little suspect controversy that happened because they kind of blamed it, on the homeless man who lived underneath the bridge. But of course, when they were recapping the story, they said, well, GDOT was partly responsible for that because they were storing some chemicals underneath that bridge, and that was, part of the reason that happened. And, the charges were dismissed from the people who were arrested, for that incident. So my gripe is that sometimes they don't get it right intentionally, and then they circle back and they kind of fix it. And that's kind of what happened in that situation.
Did you say 285 or 85?
I'm sorry, 85.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I remember because that definitely affected my way to work. Right now, also, what was it? It's another bridge that burned not too long afterwards that affected my way to work too. Was it around? It was around Cheshire Bridge, somewhere around in that area that burned a little bit too. But yeah, definitely remember that. What to say? The guy was doing something. A homeless guy was doing something with some chemicals up under the bridge or something. Something happened. But I do remember thinking maybe I just avoided that area a little bit more. But I do remember thinking that it wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be. I do remember that. Maybe because I drove that way just about every day, maybe at different times. Maybe I avoided it.
Yeah.
At certain times.
I mean, they shut the whole area down for, I think the report said 80 something days, and they worked 24 hours around the clock to get that bridge back up and working within 3 months. So they came up with a strategic plan just like that. And, they had projected it was going to take 6 or 7 months, but they found some work crew somewhere and put a contract together, and it was a 24-hour operation because if you think about how central Atlanta is to transportation and goods and services, I mean, there are hundreds and hundreds and thousands of trucks that come through here every day. And so I know there was probably pressure on so many different fronts to get this this main thoroughfare back up and running in a timely manner. And they made it happen within 3 months. So it's just another example behind, if there's some money behind a project, whether it's a vaccine, a cure for a disease, you know, or the reconstruction of a bridge, when somebody puts some money into it, things can happen. And that's my gripe today. It's that things can happen, but sometimes they don't happen because there's no money supporting it. So this is just another one of those examples that, you know, if you have a pothole in your local community, it's just still there because nobody's spending any money on fixing it.
Yes, McKenna said that. You know, but McKenna, but I also have to share something, right? So after we all saw what happened or heard about what happened Sunday night on the Oscars, right? But here's the thing. I feel flattered. I got to commend my hosts, Marcus and McKenna, because everyone was like, I can't wait to see what y'all got to say. Oh, and I want to hear what that Miss Dr. Phil got to say. Can y'all guess who was Dr. Phil? MG.
Oh, I don't,
not you. That's McKenna. That's McKenna.
Okay, that's what I'm
MG.
gonna say.
You Steve Harvey, little brother.
Wow.
I don't know if it's a compliment for me or not, because I'm not extra, but I'm Tamar Brax. McKenna, you just nodding your head.
Okay, Tamar, go ahead. Let me hear what you have to say.
No. I ain't Tamar. I mean, you know, I got jokes and everything, but you know, at the same time, I could be serious. But I guess that energy, but it's all a compliment. It's very flattering to people, just for our listeners, that they just can't wait. They are tuning in for us to talk about this, what happened Sunday. So I don't think we should let them wait. So maybe we should let, you know, MG start off. You know,
maybe I could, but I think I'm gonna be long-winded about this subject. But I'm gonna start it off a little bit. As a black man, I'm very disappointed in the whole situation. It was a bad look. And let me take a step back. I'm a huge fan of Will Smith. He's probably one of the only few celebrities that I follow on Instagram. I think on Instagram he's widely entertaining. I root for him every time I see him on the red table. I root for him even when he's not at the red table, just because I don't know what his wife gonna say. Hey, what's going on, Carol? But I thought that it was a bad look for, at least in that moment. Now I know there was some other things that went on during the award show that was very gratifying and very uplifting for black men, but I thought that was a bad stain for black men, considering the person that it was coming from. Now, if it was like 50 Cent and he was in the audience and he did something like that, you'd be like, all right, man, 50 tripping, you know what I'm saying? But that's 50, you know. But for it to be someone like Will, it was very, very disappointing. And like I said, I got a lot to say about it, but I want to kind of, as we go along, I'm sure we'll have a lot of time to discuss a lot of things. But I just want to get my overall opinion of the situation, and I got a few more things to touch on. So I go ahead and let one of y'all go ahead and go and give me your thoughts on it.
I guess I'll just chime in. I would say that it was so disappointing for me that I've had a difficult time watching it. You know, they've been playing it on different outlets, you know, I was on ESPN just for a few minutes and they brought it up on ESPN. So it's been so difficult for me that I haven't repeatedly listened to the commentary that each news outlet, even different celebrities on Instagram, you know, they've chimed in. And so I've scanned over it. So if I see that it's going to be about Will, I scan over it. That's how disappointed I was with how it represented us in those 15 minutes. You know, we all have 15 minutes for fame, and he's had several incidents of 15 minutes of fame, and this was going to be a huge highlight of his 15-minute spotlight, in this moment. And so I went out to lunch on Sunday, and I have a group of lady friends, and we get together quarterly, and we just discuss different things. And one of the things we were talking about, and this was before, of course, this incident happened, we were talking about the concept of that collective consciousness that African American people have, and that when one person does something in our African American community, we all cringe because we feel responsible for that one person. So if you see something on the news, sometimes you're listening, and I can remember, as a young person, before they announced the name or showed the mugshot, my grandmother would say, "Oh, I hope that's not a young Black man." And we have similar examples of that in our culture, in our history. And we were also just jesting and talking about how other cultures, maybe the majority culture here in America, though, and it's not true to everybody, but they don't necessarily have this collective culture. If one person does something, it's just that person, and they don't own it as a community or as a culture. And so, literally when I got home that evening, I had dozed off to sleep. Somebody sent me a message about this incident that happened on the Oscars, and I just cringed. Like, we just had this conversation about how when something happens in our culture, we all, have this shared experience, regarding it. And so that's what I think I've been feeling personally, for this last couple of days, this disappointment, this shame, this embarrassment, this, how is he going to recover from this? What kind of stain, indelible mark is it going to place on not only his award, but, the fact that we had, this Black production that produced this award ceremony, and how I came to terms with it. I had to come up with something that was going to make sense to me. So.
McKenna might be.
Sometimes when I come up with things that make sense. So my conspiracy theory was that, how, you lose a bet and you have to do something because you lost this bet. So in my mind, somebody had something over Will and Jada that was just darker than dark. And he lost the bet. This is, my mind rationalizing this experience. And this was his consequence for losing this bet. Like, he was punked to the extreme that said, okay, you either do this or else. And so that's what I came up with. So.
All right, so I'm gonna piggyback on you. I was just saying that it was just for TV. He and Chris Rock playing that. I took it even further than he was being blackmailed. I took it further than that. It was planned. I don't know how. And I had a conversation with a friend the day after it happened, because, like I said, everyone wants to hear each other's opinion. First of all, I didn't think that even the joke that was made was even distasteful. I feel it's a compliment. That movie, G.I. Joe.
Not according to Tiffany Haddish.
I didn't hear that. So we're gonna get into that one then. But again, I didn't take it offenseful because I rocked that haircut. I rocked it for what, 5 years? I didn't take it as an offense or a disrespect. I didn't understand that. That part I didn't understand. Now, if he had said something about chandeliers. So Carolyn said, I did too. You did too what, Carolyn? Add some more notes in there. But I felt that it had to be staged because that was nothing distasteful. No matter what people saw. Okay, Carolyn. So she says she feels the same way as me. It was nothing to be upset about. They put Jada for one, and she pulled Will in it. She puts everything out there for this world to see and to hear. So now when people are joking about something, why is it disrespectful? Like Carolyn, I thought it was a compliment. And one of my girlfriend I was talking to, she said it was funny. Like, it was funny. I didn't even take it as funny. I thought it was cute. I didn't take it as disrespectful. He joning on her bald head. Half of us black women is rocking this haircut, not because they're sick. Some are sick, some are not. Some just want to change. Yes, some people. Me, I cut my edges. Look, now she had me want to go to the dermatologist to check if I got alopecia too. Now I'm gonna get an attitude. I walk around with my hair bald and somebody tell me I got a cute bald head. Now I'm look to my left or my right and say smack them. So that's where I'm at with this thing. One, it is something either stage. Two, Will got all other kind of stuff going on, and because everyone in the room laughed, it was cute. But then you're gonna turn around and because you glimpsed at your wife, because I saw the role when they kept on playing the role and roll our eyes. So now it's like, oh, so you know how I feel about this. So you really gonna let this slide? But why that night? That's why in my head, I believe it was a whole stunt. That's me. Will has been too respectful to the industry, to his black co-stars and people who look up to him. He had a clean nose all this time in his career. And now he can do something distasteful as that. Nah, something more to that story, y'all. Y'all know what I said about Jesse. I'm saying it about Will. It's something more to this.
Well, let me go ahead and jump in again. I guess they did report that after it happened, that he was visibly, I guess, shaken and had tears in his eyes after when they went into commercial break. I guess when Denzel tried to console him, and Bradley Cooper as well, and then Tyler Perry tried to console him. And I mean, maybe it is one of those things where, like, what people kind of saying is like maybe he reached his breaking point, because they did say at some point he wrote a book. I didn't read it yet, but they said a lot of things that he said in the book was that he's had this feeling over his life where he's felt like a coward for not, engaging or protecting women in his lifetime. So I'm sure coupled along with that, and things that people are saying about the things that happened with the entanglement on the red table, I'm sure those things played a part into maybe the reason why he acted the way he acted. So I don't know if I go your road to it was staged. Maybe I don't know. Maybe I don't know. But for me, I think it was the aftermath of what people thought in the situation that was highly disappointing to me too as well. Because we have this, and we've had it for years, and I think we talked about it here. We have this. How shall I put it? This battle between black men and black women. And when this incident took place, a lot of it reared its ugly head. I ain't gonna say ugly head, but a lot of it came to the surface. As I was talking, I very rarely go on Facebook. And the reason why is that sometimes I engage in these conversations and these debates, and I don't like to do that all the time. But for this one particular time, I think that it was brought up that someone made a statement of why didn't Jada protect him as he was trying to protect her, if that's what he was doing, and why didn't he say, "Nah, baby, it's cool, sit down." As somebody, there you go. She could. You're right, and exactly. Mm-hmm.
The Powerhouse Radio says that she could have stopped the man from going up there. I feel more to it on a personal point with Jada. Mm-hmm. His speech was overall over the place. So
yeah,
it's just.
So I mean, it's and that part was there, of course, that she could have stopped him. And I got upset and I got in my feelings because somebody was making some statements, and it sounded good to women at the time. He was just protecting, and they was like, well, why should she have to? It's not her fault. He's a grown man. He do what he want to. Why could she just sit there in her feminine energy and just so I ain't gonna lie, that kind of upset me, because the reason why he went up there and did what he did was all because of you. So you can't be absolved of the situation once it's going on. You in it, whether you want it to be or not. You know what I mean? And what I said, well, it's not her fault. I'm not gonna blame her for it, but she had an opportunity to be helpful in the situation and be like, nah, babe, don't even worry about it. Don't even trip. We good. We good. Don't even trip. And if she tried to stop him, if she couldn't, maybe somebody else would have said, oh, this is something's about to happen. Maybe somebody else would have walked, somebody that was near her maybe would have walked in front of him, kind of help out. And maybe it would have gave Chris a heads up, hey, look, this is really about to go down,
But there was another report. They were saying that they had asked, Will had asked for nothing to be said about Jada's hair. He said that too. That was one of the reports that I saw, that he did tell, because he knows Chris is a comedian, and comedians go wherever they feel like going. So but there may have made matters worse. That may have made matters worse. Exactly. Everything that happened. But they were saying that he told the producers don't go nowhere near Jada's hair. So what it's looking like, because if you notice the statement that the Academy has sent out, we don't condone violence, and that was it. He was not escorted. He was not, taken out to the back, make him sit somewhere else in the corner till he go get his award and then leave again. None of that happened. So I believe it's more to that story, and I think that's why, if that is really what happened and they did not tell Chris, then it was for ratings. Okay. Or they didn't know how far Will would have went. And Will probably thought, wait a minute, I know I said, and he still did. So it could go all kind of way. It's just more to this story. But regardless of what, I don't believe and feel that was appropriate at that time. He could have waited till commercial break. Even if he had went up there when the cameras was not rolling to go smack him, that would have even been not bad, not good, but not as bad. Or pull him to the back and be like, listen, I had enough of you. This is what I don't appreciate it. So it could have been all kind of scenarios we could say what could have happened. But at the end of the day, it can't be taken back. His career, he don't have to work again. He don't have to work again. So I just feel that he and Jada need to close the shop down from the red table. I think they should leave all the talking about their children now, and they should just go somewhere and retire. Because as we all get older, we are going through things. There are people who are losing their hair because of this alopecia. There's people with thyroid disease that lose their hair, gain weight, lose weight. There's a lot of things as we get older. We are experiencing it. We are having health issues. I'm one of them. And we're sitting up here like, okay, but we have to accept it. So because someone sees you with some kind of, I lost weight and don't know why, they're going to call me a crackhead. Oh, she must be on something, or she must got something. And not knowing that I might have a medical condition. So what we're going to do? Fight every time? Somebody run a joke? McKenna?
So I will say a couple of things, and not in any particular order, but I'll just start with, I still believe that all things work together for the good. And so even though this is a painful experience to go through as our community, and to see, this replayed and re-exposed on every major network, something good still may happen as a result of this. And I don't know what that thing is. Part of it is just the conversation that we've had. I've seen so many people, so many Black men, so many celebrities speak out against violence against women. Some of them have their own backgrounds where in their own past, they perpetrated violence against women, if truth be told. But I think the conversation that it has sparked in and itself is something positive. And it does highlight, because if we are honest, with ourselves, there are many of us who have either been directly impacted by domestic violence, witnessed it, had a mother, aunt, or grandmother who experienced domestic violence, and that has, and even though this isn't a domestic violence incident, it's just a violent incident. And so we know that there is Black on Black crime in our community. We know that we still have a culture of enjoying, in some regard, watching people get cussed out. We have media outlets and TV shows that perpetrate us being violent towards each other. So if nothing else, there's this conversation that's being had about what anger management looks like and what violence looks like and what it looks like when we disrespect each other on national TV. And then what things can we do to manage and regulate those emotions when they come up, and how can we handle it in more appropriate ways? So I'm sure there's a conversation being had in everybody's household that he did something wrong. Okay, well, we all do something wrong at times. And I'm just interested to see how this morphs and how this evolves into something positive, because it didn't just happen for no reason. I still feel like something positive could happen from this. And I don't feel that he's going to disappear into Never Never Land. He has too much support. There's too many people that admire Will Smith and have been with him along his journey. And as you mentioned earlier, there are people that respect him in all communities, all walks of life. People really enjoy. If you're not a Will Smith fan, then you're just not a fan. But if you are a fan, you just enjoy the different types of work that he has done throughout the years. And he's made, dozens of movies. He has, poured money into different ventures, and he still has some creativeness about him. So we'll see him again. He may be on radio silence for a minute or two, but I don't think that he's going to disappear from the culture. He just might disappear right now, and he may come back on Oprah, and have a conversation on Oprah, or Uncle Steve may sit him down on the Uncle Steve show. But I wonder what kind of support he's getting from the Brotherhood. Like, was there a tribunal? Like, did the men get together and say, hey, we need to go check on Will, because this is not the Will Smith that we know. And some men probably admire him because of his clean, so to speak, record, that he hasn't necessarily been out here and he doesn't have too many things against him that people can pull up and say, well, you remember when Will did this? I mean, the most you really can say was he didn't really cuss a lot in his rap, if that's anything, or he has this open relationship that doesn't make sense to anybody but him and Will and Jada, but hey, that's their business. So I wonder if the men surrounded him and have had a meeting. So like, are they on a retreat somewhere? Are they going somewhere? And is it going to be, Steve and company saying, okay, we need to sit together around this red table, as men, and have these conversations, and we need to talk about this. If that happens, that's something positive. Somebody is going to benefit from this experience. And I'm looking forward to see what that looks like. And then I'm looking forward to Will. He made his public apology on the interwebs, but I still feel like he's going to come back and do some more media and some more film, even if it's behind the scenes, some producing or some writing. But we'll see him again. He's not canceled in the culture. He's in timeout, but I don't think he's canceled in the culture.
So Karen was saying, why would he say that about her? Don't say anything about her hair and not say something about August. Exactly. That's why I don't feel that joke was distasteful and it was disrespectful, because it was nothing. I think Demi Moore played a very good role with that movie. Don't remember too much what it was, but she was a something. However, so what about his son when he said that's what we do?
I hope that was in reference to just winning the award.
Winning the award, because
so.
his little wimp self, excuse my French, he looked like he would run in one of his skirts or dress if somebody even run up to him. Okay, so I think he might be also talking about his the award versus the slap. I'm to a point where, what about Chris? I'm tired of hearing about Will. What about Chris? This young man used to get bullied as a child. What for him? Okay, like Marcus said, he was shaking. You know, he was caught off guard. It really did something to him. What about Chris? That's what my problem is.
Yeah.
What about Chris?
And then Chris is about to go on tour with Kevin Hart. So do we add this to our comedy act? Like, because we're still comedians. How do we rephrase this? Like,
all right. So since you brought that up, Chris Rock comedy tour ticket sale increased.
Absolutely.
His tickets went from $46 to $400 and something.
Yep.
That's 100%. What? Just like that. Just like that.
But again, what if somebody else tried that?
Then I'm sure he'll probably have some type of security or something in place now.
Well, he didn't even think he would even get. Now, if, like I said, Will could have said, like he said back there, keep my wife name out your mouth. He could have did that. He could have did that and not go up there. I canceled him. He's canceled. He and Jada's canceled. And I was a very big fan of Jada. I like the fact that she doesn't. She's transparent. Hey, Madonna. I like the fact that she's transparent. I like the fact that it's like, hey, what you see is what you get. I was good with her. People were saying, oh, she doing too much this, that. Okay, I was a Jada fan. However, I just don't understand to the fact that this happened and I canceled them. So Carolyn said, well, you had the 1974 naked white streaker, so I guess it was turned to have an incident. He has sold out all of his show. Well, I mean, if getting smacked on live TV gonna make you some more millions, okay? That's why I say I think it's more to the story anyway, y'all.
Well, I don't know. I mean, I think it was just I don't know if you can predict that you getting smacked in the face on TV would increase the sales of your show. That would be genius if that was the case. Especially knowing his background with being bullied and stuff like that. But one of the things I did hear was that the whole thing of he shouldn't have done it because it was distasteful. He had no idea, which like many Americans, they had no idea that she had alopecia. I didn't know.
They was on TV talking about this. She was at her red table.
People don't watch that show. People don't watch a show like that. Though. See, that's what everybody's assumption is that because you may have millions of people that watch it, that everybody is watching it. But people
I mean, it's not that serious about this whole alopecia thing. Like I said, I walked around. I don't have it. I was never diagnosed with it, but I cut my hair off, and guess what? I rocked it for all these years.
So what was the conversation on the way home between Will and Jada?
That's what's up, babe. Thank you for doing that for me, babe.
You did.
I love you. I'm gonna take care of you tonight. You want mama to take care of you tonight? I'm gonna take care of you, baby. Thanks. That's what I'm talking about, babe. Carolyn said, LOL. Madonna said, I don't keep up with them. Next subject, please. No. Because this is a conversation from Sunday. But we had to talk about it, Madonna. We had to chop it up. Because regardless of what, not only because they're celebrity, but also we're letting it known that violence is not always the answer. You do got to turn the other cheek. So I commend Chris 100% for not bouncing back, and he was able to go on with the show. So again, kudos to Chris. Kudos to him.
Mm-hmm.
If
And his
anyone
page-
was a winner that night, it was Chris Rock.
Yeah, his pages had his Instagram pages had an outpouring of support for him. Of course, that'd be coupled along with the ticket sales and stuff like that. But his page has an outpouring of support. He hasn't posted anything. People still don't know where he went after the incident happened. Of course, they know that Jada and Will partied that night with the Oscar in their hand. But people don't know what happened to Chris. I guess he just went home after that incident. And I thought it was, we don't know the full story because I guess Chris hasn't spoken to anyone, outside of the people that he knows. But I thought it interesting that people comforted Will, but nobody came to holler at Chris and see if he was okay. To know that he was the one that just the act of physical violence was against him, and nobody, not even anybody from the production crew. We don't know, but nobody from the production crew went out there and said, said something or something, did anything to support that he was safe on that stage at that point.
And if they did, that didn't make the news. So it's really interesting how the media still is putting a spin on the rest of the story. So even if there were, even if Denzel handled Will first and then went to check on Chris, we didn't get to see that side of it. And so that also is a little bit sad because we didn't get to see, like you said, that outpouring of support for him, which he probably needed in that moment. And then even the fact that there's no reports that he hung out and partied and celebrated and had a good time. But Will and Jada, they kicked it and I'm sure toasted it up and, did the Bankhead bounce or whatever they did, and went home at the wee hours in the morning. So it'll be interesting to see that once Chris takes his time out, what he comes back and he says. And I'm sure
after his tour, probably after his tour, McKenna.
Well, before his tour and during the tour, because comedy is an expression of all things that are happening. So I'm sure he's going to write some of that into that because people have bought tickets because they want to hear how he's going to crack on Will and how he's going to spin it and how he's going to come back. Like people want to hear that and people want to support him. And I agree, people who probably had no intentions of going to see him and Kevin Hart were like, wait a minute, where is he going to be? All right, y'all, how many people want to go? I'm getting ready to buy these tickets. Let's plan to go support him. So,
well, you see, Carolyn says that it's better Chris than her because she would have took the low road. Carolyn, yes, I know you would have. That's my Aries sister, y'all. She would have. Carolyn, I know you would have.
A lot of people said had that been Steve Harvey, that would have even looked different.
No, that wouldn't even have went good. Even if it was what's his name, Jimmy Kimmel, it wouldn't have went like that. He would have showed his little, because I think he got a little juice somewhere in him. So I don't think it would have went there with Jimmy Kimmel. But you know what? Like we said, we'll keep y'all posted if anything else come alight to it. But guess what we got to do? Shout out Morris Chestnut. He received a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame last week, y'all. So give it up to Morris Chestnut. Oh my goodness. Eye candy, y'all. I did not know this man was married neither. So congrats. And he's been married for a long time, y'all. That's what I'm talking about. Black love right there. Really, really, really. Yes, Marcus, I said it. I didn't know. I was just too busy just looking at that chocolate, man. Okay.
You weren't looking hard enough because you weren't on your stalker.
I wasn't stalking. I was just looking. I was just looking in the eyes. I wasn't even looking at the finger, nothing like that.
It wasn't real then. Because you best believe Megan Good. I know all her business.
You see this? You see that right there? See, I think, and I had a conversation a few days ago with a friend. She was asking me like if there's something that like I have to have. You know how people have to have coffee, or they have to have their tea, or there are some people who just have to have. I was like, I don't obsess over anything. I don't know. So should I find something to obsess over, y'all? Or am I normal? Is it normal?
No, you be you.
100% of the time, I tell people to be yourself 100% of the time.
I was trying to feel some type of way because so many people was saying how they, there's things. I don't have it. Like there's times I feel for mango and I'll go and buy 6. And by the time I get to 4, I'm done. And I don't eat mangoes for another 4 or 5 months. Same thing with pineapple. So I guess I don't obsess over nothing. So Hey, I guess I just continue to be me. But there's another story, y'all. So to lighten the night up, Madonna, since you want us to move on about Chris and Will, okay. Did you hear there's a Brazilian singer? She had to go to the hospital because she had trap gas, which fart, because she was refusing to pass gas in front of her boyfriend.
So how long were they together for that time period? Because I mean, we've all held it in, but like we're together for like a whole weekend, and she was like, "Nope, nope, nope, not gonna let it out."
I do that.
I mean, she couldn't go outside and walk to the mailbox and come right back or something. I mean, I'm just wondering.
She held it, y'all.
See, I believe that's cap. Here's why. There's no point in time during whatever time she was with that guy that she went to the bathroom. There's no time at all.
But she probably didn't want to pass gas because it might smell.
Man, you don't run some water in there, some air freshener to get that thing and do what you do.
Now I'm like that because there's time when I used to go to work in the building, and I'll be holding that thing. Sometimes I'll be feeling like it want to come out, come out my mouth because I'll be holding it so long, and then I gotta just say, you know what, I'm about to go outside. And I remember sometimes I'm looking down behind me, behind the the hall, see if anybody over there, so I could go on and just let it out, and then kind of just let it. And then I keep walking, and every time I let it be that silent one, and every time I let it out, somebody done opened the door and came out. I said, "Oh goodness!" So when I saw that story, y'all, I had to say I had to talk about it because how much people did this? I did it so much I didn't have to go to the hospital, but I do it. I will not. I refuse. I refuse to do it. Carolyn, y'all quiet. Has anybody have hold their gas when they are around their husband, boyfriends, even your friends? Have you?
I mean, I think there's a point of holding it, but if it becomes uncomfortable, then you just excuse yourself. Like, it's a human bodily function.
Madonna said, Madonna, you ain't got no sense. Carolyn, what you said, I don't know if they were together for 2 seconds. It's more room out there than in. All right. See, that's what I'm talking about, guys. Thank you so much for chiming in. Carolyn, Madonna, thank y'all so much for you. And I tell our listeners every week, when you guys chat with us, it gives us even more to respond to. This is awesome. I mean, I did it. And I listen while I'm in. Listen, I got a little business on air. So I remember one time this happens because I would not do it. I would not pass gas around anybody, especially a guy. So I remember I was in a room by myself, y'all. And, nobody was around. And I'm thinking, the person was in another room or something. And I don't know, when y'all in private, if you sometimes you just let it out, you just let it out and you might make a little music with it. And all I can hear outside the door, I just know you did not just let that out. I was so embarrassed, y'all. I was so embarrassed. And I said, see, that's what you get. That's what you get. That's what you get. Because this person don't even probably think you're human. Like Madonna said, do you do that every day? And I got caught in that moment when I was just letting it all out. So yeah, that's why I don't do it around people no more. And I look, I look both ways now. But she survived. She did not die. I'm just trying to figure out, did the boyfriend go with her to the emergency room? Did he? We'll follow up on that next. You know what I'm saying? We're going to follow up on that next. But she did make it through. But I see we got some news. What's up with the Bengals? Did we got something about the overtime with the football and McKenna?
Oh, yes. It seems like the NFL is looking into changing some of these overtime rules based on some things that happened in the playoffs last year. So I wondered that when I can't remember the exact game, but I was watching the game, and at the end of the game, I said, they're going to review this. They're going to review this play because some people are screaming out loud about this win and this loss. So it looks like there might be some changes in the rules.
Yep. So they supposed to change it to where everybody. So in overtime, it's usually typically whoever gets the ball first, if they score a touchdown, the game is over with. If they kick a field goal, the other person gets another. The other team gets another possession to figure out if they're going to tie the ball game or score a touchdown. However, so the rule change really affects if they score a touchdown on the first drive. So if they score a touchdown on the first drive, the other team's going to get the ball and get an opportunity to score a touchdown, as opposed to the game being over with. I guess.
Do you think that's fair?
Yeah, I mean it is. I mean, I think you're gonna probably. It may make the game move faster. It may not. I still don't know the exact what would happen if neither team scored on their first possessions. So typically it's been like if neither team scores on their first possession, I think it's the first one to kick a field goal. I think it's so I don't know if somebody comes out and get a field goal, are they gonna automatically say, hey, you get another possession type of thing?
So why they just didn't maybe just add 2 more minutes on the clock? Because a lot of things can happen in 2 minutes.
Well, the overtime itself is 10 minutes.
But I don't understand why they don't just play the entire 10 minutes and whoever is winning at the end of the 10 minutes and the game is over. You know, like in basketball, like you have 4 extra minutes or 6 extra minutes or 8 extra minutes, whatever it is. At the end of the minutes, whoever is winning won the game. I think it should be minutes and not possession.
That may be the next thing. I think NFL players probably have voted not to have that happen because they want to get out of there, especially in postseason, because it's such a physical sport, and they may be playing next week, so they want to as much time as possible to recuperate and do all this other stuff. So I think it's just one of those things where they just want to get up out of there as soon as possible. But that may be a good suggestion to be like, hey, look, you've got 10 minutes. Who's ever winning at the end of the 10 minutes? Then that's the game, or probably less than that, because I think basketball with each quarter is like 15, 12 minutes. I can't remember which one, but in overtime it's 5 minutes. So you have to do something equivalent to that. So maybe you break it down to 5 minutes. Extra overtime would be 5 minutes. But you could end up one of those situations in which a team you can actually possess the ball for that time limit, and the other team still not get an opportunity to score. So they can come down and kick a field goal. So I'm sure that probably would weigh in on there too as well.
All right, so we'll keep up to date with what's going on with that, and if they actually implement it for the next season. But we have a question that was proposed. It's a yes or no. A woman knows when another woman likes her man. McKenna.
So that's kind of a broad question, but I would just say, like, if it was in a group setting, you wouldn't know if a random person that you didn't meet, but maybe if you had a group of friends and you were hanging around your group of friends, would you be able to spot if one of your friends kind of had a crush on your man? Most likely you would, because women tell tales. Like, you're going to look at that person a certain way. You're going to say some maybe extra inappropriate comments. Your boundaries might not be that good. You might be up underneath them and not notice it. You might whisper it to another person in the group, and that other person in the group whispers it to the other person in the group, and then it gets back to you. So that statement is kind of broad, but depending on the circumstances, you can feel that vibe because you had that vibe with somebody else before, so you know what it looks like and you know what it feels like. And the last part to that is, for men still like attention. For most men still like attention. So if they get a little extra attention, it's going to show, not because they're necessarily trying to be disrespectful, But if she walks up on him and says, "Oh, I see you," he's gonna blush, he's gonna smile, something, he's gonna have a response. And so it might not be anything that he did. The woman might have said something to him, the friend or the woman may have said something to him. So there's gonna be something that happens for you to know if you're in the presence of that experience. You're gonna know.
Marcus, have you, while you were dating, even before you got married, have you felt that someone you were with, their friends liked you, or have even your wife or a previous girlfriend said to you, Marcus, such and such like you? I know I see the way she look at you.
Well, first of all, let me preface this by saying I am totally oblivious to all of it. I just be like, oh no, that's the home girl. We cool and she the homie. We good. But I've had significant others be like, nah, she like you. I can tell. I know you.
Look,
like,
Madonna and Carolyn is they on it tonight. Carolyn said she could smell it a million miles away. My good y'all, that's my sister. She said she could smell them a million feet away. Okay. Madonna said, yep. I'm just saying. Marcus, I was like you. I was naive.
Yeah, I don't
I was naive. Nah, man, we cool. That's just my friend. She like that. Nah, she ain't gonna do that to me. Nah. Madonna said, watch the fellas. When I tell you tonight is on the problem.
That ain't what she said. Look at that again.
She said, watch the heifers. Oh, Madonna, you and that heifer. I can't. Yeah.
She said them heifers ain't loyal.
Heifers. I just looked at it real quick. Oh no. Heifers, yes. Madonna, that's funny. But it's true. I was like Marcus. I was naive until one of my ex so-called friend married my ex-husband. Yeah, that's another story time. That's another show time. Yeah. Marcus, you got a question?
Yeah, I kind of heard something like that recently where somebody did ask that question, like, would you mind if like an ex or something, or somebody that you really didn't, maybe y'all went out a couple of times, found like, hey, me and you, we not vibing, we don't mix. If you had a friend, would you be like, hey, look, try your luck, y'all may make a good couple? So, I mean, I've been in a position, I'm just like, hey, do what you do.
Well, I think a lot of times, just to throw this out there real quick, I think like what I just mentioned about what happened to me, because I had actually stopped being friends with this person because of their character. But then that's why we're not friends. But then to see what happened after I divorced my ex-husband and stuff like that, I just believe that a lot of time in that situation, when you got people around you, they want what you have. They see how you living, and a lot of times they think, oh, is the man or whatever. So I think a lot of times in my situation, I just feel like some of them is because they want what you got, because they think what you got is all that in a bag of chips. Because I don't look at my friend's man. I don't. I look at them like I really like if somebody, oh, you seen what here? I can't tell you what my friend's husband or boyfriends wear. I don't look at them. I'm like, I'm talking to them, but I'm looking somewhere else. I just don't. That's not something I do. They just off limits. So it's never where, oh girl, such and such a husband real cute or boyfriend nice. I don't do it. So
Tonya, are they still together?
I don't know, but I guarantee you they probably try to return it to sender. That's all I can say. But there's no sender. There is no receiver for that package. Okay.
And on that note,
it's 7:59. Even though we started a little late tonight, we're gonna cut it off tonight. That's all right, because this 89.1 Victorious Radio and the powerhouseradio.com. Guys, thank you so much for tuning in. Madonna, Carolyn, Sheila, thank y'all so much for your comments. We couldn't do without you guys. Thank you. Keep on chatting with us. We can engage more. We appreciate you guys. So you know what? The next time we come back on next Wednesday, it's going to be April, y'all. It's going to be April. It's going to be April 6th when we come back, y'all. So I'm just telling y'all, turn up because it's Aries season, y'all. Countdown.
Yeah. Every
So,
season.
and of course, don't forget, y'all, we got the Peach Corner. So you can go on to text me for the ones who know me personally and send us an email at letsgripe@gmail.com so we could get the Peach Corner letters going and everything. But of course, my close friends and family, when you bring it to me, I bring it out here. But again, thank you guys so much for tuning in at the powerhouseradio.com and the Victorious radio station at 89.1 FM. We're going to say peace out tonight.
Yeah, I hear that wind blowing. I think there's some rain coming. So
I heard a bad storm
yes.
is coming.
I hear
And
it's over here.
Powerhouse, can you put us out with love and happiness? Or you already got something for us?
If you're in your car, if you're at home, if you're on your phone.
Driving home and you're feeling kind of tired. Hey, radio play the same thing every day. So you need a little switch in your life. Traffic got you jammed up every night.
You're in tune to the
Powerhouse
Radio, linking the world to the
you need to check them out. I promise I ain't trying to hype.
Glorious
Tonight it might change your life.
WAAG.
What's the name of the show?
Your unity in the community.
Or you might be home so long gone. You can even dial in on your phone. I promise that you're gonna love it. Just try it one time, it'll blow your mind. Now I'ma say it just one more time. Every Wednesday from 7 to 9. Let's gripe. 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 Let's gripe.
You're in tune to the Powerhouse Radio, linking the world to the Caribbean.